Hey, you all. This is Carl from Carl and J-Man Save the World podcast, just giving you a disclaimer. We're going to be talking about a sensitive topic about religion. So if you guys get offended by what we have to say, this is just our opinions. We're just two Hopi guys, we just have opinions. So we half the time we don't even know what we're talking about. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show. And if you guys are offended, remember this is just for entertainment purposes only. Now on with the show.
Coenvioma Law, PLLC is 100% native owned and operated, founded by Viren Coenvioma. Their practice areas include corporate law, business transactions, finance, economic development, gaming, casino development, online gaming, real estate, environmental permitting and approvals, telecommunications, government affairs, employment and labor relations, historic preservation and cultural resources, and energy. Coenvioma Law is committed to making positive and lasting change in our communities as they support nonprofit volunteering, community activism, and employing Indian preference in hiring and vendor relations.
You are now listening to the Carl and J-Man Save the World podcast. I am your host, the 5-star, 5-diamond chef, J-Man, and with me is my sidekick, Carl.
Hey, good morning, everybody out there. I know you're listening to this on the morning podcast show here in beautiful downtown Kikotsmovi, Arizona.
You know, I've never thought that we're truly in downtown K-Town. I always thought that maybe we're kind of more like in the suburbs or something like that.
Suburbs.
Because I guess to me, downtown really would be where the K-Town store is.
Maybe.
Where the post office is.
Maybe.
And then we're kind of in this, the new development area of K-Town.
Yeah, I guess you could say
I guess we're in the burbs.
We're in South Central.
So, something like that. But last week's episode was received pretty well.
Yeah.
And our social media intern, she posted a question, give some suggestions for costumes for you and I that we could wear. And somebody suggested that we dress up as Mermaid Man and
Barnacle Boy. I know, I saw that too. I was like, man, I'd be a great Mermaid Man.
You would be a great Barnacle Boy.
No, I would be a Mermaid Man.
You would be a great Barnacle Boy.
No, I would be a Mermaid Man. I'd be the leader of the gang.
You wish.
You and your schnoz can be Barnacle Boy.
But last week's episode is performing pretty well, so I guess a lot of people really did enjoy our tales of fright and tales of scary dreams. And you know what? I'm glad to say to the listeners out there that my sleep has been uninterrupted. I mean, I'm still waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, but I know what that stress is from. And so me sharing that crazy story didn't create any more havoc in my life, so I'm happy to report that.
That is true. Because you don't participate I guess you do participate in the spirit of Halloween, but it's kind of hard for you to get into the spirit of Halloween, where it's like, scary movies, blood, guts, and gore kind of thing.
Well, before we started recording, I did try to tell you that I was trying to get into this spirit, and so over the weekend I watched some real scary movies, watched some flicks, to get into the Halloween spirit. I watched Ghostbusters 2. And Ghostbusters 2 is actually pretty good. I don't know why it received a lot of negative criticism when it first came out, but I thought it was a really good movie. Also watched Beetlejuice for the very first time. I've seen scenes of Beetlejuice before, but last night was like the first time that I ever watched the full length of the movie, and so I thought it was funny. I laughed a lot, and so
on Beetlejuice,
yeah.
You never watched Beetlejuice up till now.
Well, I used to watch the cartoon a lot. I watched the cartoon, so that's how I was familiar with Beetlejuice. But the actual movie, I finally watched it, the full thing, yesterday.
I love Beetlejuice. I mean, I used to watch the television series, the cartoon series.
Cartoon series. Yeah, I love that. I love that cartoon.
It was so good.
It was so funny.
It was so good.
So funny.
Yeah, I want to find the whole entire DVD set if there is one. I don't know if there is one.
You know what? I did watch a YouTube video one that you might like, and I might have to forward you the link. It was about Saturday morning cartoons. And he was the guy that created the video. He was reviewing all of these different Saturday morning cartoons that used to show on the Saturdays. And then he would tell you like where you could watch it at.
Really?
If it was streaming somewhere or if it wasn't streaming. But sadly, he did talk about Beetlejuice. And he said he cannot find it anywhere.
That's what I've been saying. It's like there's no. I've been doing the same thing too. I looked on YouTube. There's no such thing as Beetlejuice, the cartoon series. Mm-hmm. There's nothing. I mean, like I found the other ones, like Real Monsters. All of those other ones that used to show on Saturday morning cartoons. But yeah, as far as like Beetlejuice, I still haven't found anything. So that's why I want to get the DVDs if there's anything.
So if anybody out there is looking for Christmas ideas,
buy me the
Carl.
Yeah, I would like the.
And actually, you know what? I would like a copy too as well. So.
Yeah, I love the television series of the. I used to love those all the time. So I know I know you're probably getting ready for the kids going to like trick-or-treating and everything like that. Is everybody getting into the spirit of Halloween as well too?
I think that they are. And you know what? I got to thank, because this was a big topic that we talked about before, but I got to thank the Western Navajo Fair for providing my household with all the Halloween candy for Halloween, because my kids got so much candy from the parade. I figured, I'll just recycle that candy, and whichever kids come to our house, that's the candy that they're going to get on Halloween.
I guess so. I guess that you could do that. I mean, because last year...
they would never know.
Yeah.
They would never know. The only thing is that if I accidentally throw like one of those plastic small balls and it's all Nez for Prez into their candy bag.
Has the Dare logo on there. Yeah.
So someone's going to get some Boo Nigrin men of the Navajo calendars in their Halloween bags this year.
Yeah, it's probably true. That's probably true. So
Navajo Nation candidates.
Do you guys get a lot of trick-or-treaters?
You know what? We kind of really don't, because our neighborhood, it's a small neighborhood and it's kind of tucked out of the way. And so like if you were to come into our neighborhood, there isn't tons of houses. And so the only people that really come into our neighborhood, I guess, are people that know the people that live there. So like family and stuff like that coming in to do some trick-or-treating. But some of the bigger neighborhoods in Tuba, though, I know they get crazy. Where my parents live, I know that they get tons of kids. And then up in the boarding school housing area, they get tons of kids too as well. It's just like, it's like Mill Avenue at 2:00 in the morning when the clubs let out and people are just walking all over the streets. That's what Halloween is like. In some of these bigger neighborhoods in Tuba.
Since we live in the village as well too, we get a ton of kids.
Do you really? No kidding.
Last year we ran out of candy because I underestimated. I order from Amazon almost every year to get candy.
Oh really? You do?
Because the stores don't carry like the candy that I like.
Yeah.
Because afterwards I want to eat the candy. I was like,
what's the candy that you like?
The Reese's, the Kit Kat bars.
You can buy that stuff at Walmart.
I know you can do that, but I just don't want to be fighting an old lady for that stuff. So I just order on Amazon. It's a lot easier. Free shipping. But anyway, I underestimated. I had the 300 piece bag.
Yeah.
And it was out by within almost an hour because it was tons of kids.
Giving out your canned goods
I'm like,
to kids.
So I started breaking out the Christmas the candy canes.
Yeah.
From last year. It was like, okay, you get a candy cane, you get a candy cane.
Well, and I guess, kind of the evolution of costumes and the evolution of what it is that my kids watch. Their costumes, like I have absolutely no idea what the hell their costumes are, because my son, he's some guy from Minecraft.
Yeah.
Minecraft Larry or something like that. And then my daughter is a character from one of the Disney Plus shows. It's like Zombies, this alien girl from Zombies. And it's like, what the?
Yeah. What happened to the good old ones where it's like the vampire, ghosts, like the mummy.
The mummy.
I never seen a mummy anymore. I've never seen a mummy walk around. Like, somebody just wrapped up in toilet paper. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like a costume. It's like that's something that I would like to see.
The Res famous wife has been trying to convince me to dress up as the comic book accurate version of Vision.
Oh,
from the Marvel comics, because then she wants to go as the Scarlet Witch,
as Wanda.
Yes.
I mean, like, my costume was supposed to be from Scream. Remember that movie Scream?
Yeah, Scream.
Yeah, it's like I love that movie back in the 90s. It's like it's so random, but it's like I like that movie.
That was a real popular costume.
It was
when the movie first came out.
Yeah,
I remember in high school, like you see
almost everybody would wear Scream. Yeah, and then so I wanted to get that, but they were on back order.
I see.
So I'm gonna not have a costume.
So you're not dressing up this year?
I'm not dressing up this year. Because I have a the house that I'm decorating. My house is decorating, and I have 2 mannequins.
Okay,
and they're wearing my costumes. So, and I only have like 3 costumes, and which one of them is I think we gave that to Goodwill or something.
Every year I want to dress up, but for whatever reason, when Halloween comes around, like I just never get a costume.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I like the spirit of dressing up in a costume and showing up. Because I used to get really like I would roll my eyes like back in my college days. I get invited to Halloween parties.
Yeah.
And then you'd show up and people have like half-ass costumes. Like basically they're just wearing their uniforms from work.
Oh yeah.
And they're trying to be a nurse for Halloween, but yeah, they're 9 to 5.
That's their actual job
occupation. So they're actually wearing their scrubs. And so I used to try to dress up, but then being poor back in your college years, you just threw shit together, and I would just wear my Phoenix Suns jerseys and the basketball shorts that I would have with it, because I would have a actual shorts that were the jersey shorts that the players would wear, and so I'd go as a Phoenix Suns player every year.
In college, when I was going to college, I dressed up as a vampire one year.
Okay.
And I remember because there were no adult capes that would fit me. And I was like, it was a last minute thing. And
you were in college?
I was in college.
And you couldn't find an adult cape?
I couldn't find an adult that would fit me, yeah. And so, because they were all sold out.
I was going to say, did your growth spurt not start by then?
No, they were all sold out. I should have said that. But I ended up buying from because it was at Walmart, I ended up buying from the little kids section. And I just needed the cape. That's all I needed was the cape. And I find so hard to try to find the cape. And I never thought about going to Goodwill for that. But I just saw that because I just wanted to have the big thing around the neck. That thing?
It's like a collar.
Like the collar around the neck. Up. Yeah, I wanted that thing, but, there's nothing in my size. So the kids, I was like, I'll just wear the kids thing. It only reached up to my elbows.
Back when they used to have many of the famous nightclubs down in the valley, down in Phoenix, The Buzz. The Buzz is a nightclub that a lot of people our age will remember.
Yeah.
But I remember they're doing this promotion on Halloween way back when, and they said that if you come dressed in a costume, then you get in for free. You didn't have to pay cover.
I remember that.
And my buddy, my roommate that I was living with at the time, like all he did was he put on a solid black turtleneck.
Yeah.
He had black pants on, black shoes, but he had a mask. He had a mask.
Yeah.
And then so we show up, and I went as my Phoenix Suns costume, and then we show up, and they let me in. Okay, you're wearing a costume.
Yeah.
And then it got to him. They wouldn't let him wear his mask because of whatever safety issues, I guess. Because like that, like the bank too. You try to go to the bank,
can't wear a mask.
They won't let you wear a mask in the bank. And then they looked at the rest of his outfit, like, what the hell are you supposed to be? And you took away my mask. Mask was part of the costume. But anyway, they made him pay to get into the club. And so I guess that's a lesson out there for everybody. Don't be half-assed and
actually wear something that you can recognize.
Exactly.
Yeah, like one of the things too that I did dress up as was Freddy Krueger.
Okay.
Oh, I love that. And I used to, I made my own glove before. Okay. I tore up one of Gua's gloves, work gloves, in order to make that.
And then you attach So's butter knives.
So's butter knives. No, I think it was just like like forks that were damaged. So I just took off the fork part and then just
basically just taped it on there and then just made it look like Freddy. It was okay. I mean, like, but then Ruby's came out with the actual metal one, and I was like, oh my God, I need to have that. I never got it. I never bought it. I never bought it for myself. I don't know if that still exists. So,
well, technically, there's still 7 days, I guess, till Christmas, till Halloween. So maybe I'll find a costume in between now and
that's
Halloween.
True.
Well, you know what? There's going to be a wedding this weekend.
Yeah.
And so maybe I'll just let myself get creamed in the mud fight, and I just won't wash myself. And then that'll be my costume.
Be a mud god.
Yeah.
But talking about...
Aside from Halloween talk.
Talking about gods and everything like that.
We actually
have a topic. So, and it's talking about religion.
You know, it's interesting because then when we first started doing our podcast, like I researched a lot of do's and don'ts, and you know, and I think one of the don'ts was talking about religion.
Yeah,
because for some reason, religion is a real sensitive issue.
It is.
For some reason, people get really pissed off. When talking about religion, and I don't know why. I don't know why, and I guess maybe it's just the way that some of the more dominant religions in this country kind of carry themselves, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I don't, living in Tuba, I know we get this, but I don't know if you guys get this at all here on the main part of the reservation. But we get these guys that walk around in button-up white shirts.
The Mormons,
with short sleeves. They got black ties, black slacks, black shoes, and then they cruise around on bicycles, come knocking on your door, and then do you have room? Do you have some time to talk about the Book of the Mormon?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of some religion that's present, at least out in the Tuba communities. And then of course in previous episodes we talked about the various churches that are in Tuba and all throughout. And so religion, I guess, is pretty much in your face out here on the reservation.
Yeah.
Despite, the conversations that you and I have had. And so I guess, talking about religion,
I have to ask, is that does a culture define a religion, or does religion define a culture? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about like the 2 points of that is like, we have a culture, but then we have a religion. But then if there is no religion, do we still have a culture? You kind of get no.
I got lost in your left turn, right turn.
But no. It's
up, down, up, down.
Okay, so let me. Okay, so like we have the culture. You have Hopi culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have the traditions. We have everything like that. But then our religion of like believing in deities, believing in spirits.
Mm-hmm.
Without that, do we still have a culture?
I think so. Well, I guess, cut to, because I know my mind got a little bit lost there, but my original idea for this episode was to bring somebody on that had converted, like a Hopi that had converted, I guess learn a little bit from that person. But then I thought, because Christianity, because religion is such a sensitive issue, that maybe it's a better idea if you and I tread the waters solo first, and then kind of, see what the conversation's like, and to talk about it. Because then I guess, this idea of religion is that even though we've proclaimed before that for the most part, most Hopis, especially here on the reservation, that we kind of all believe in the same thing.
Yeah.
But now there are becoming external religions being present. And I guess the reality of it is that external religions have been present on Hopi for a very long time. And it goes all the way back to the Spanish conquests when they tried to convert our people to Catholicism. And I know that I can't remember if you said it on this podcast or if you said it to me off air, but where the ruins of what Ovi village are, that there's some sort of dedication.
Oh yeah. There was
the Catholic religion,
the Catholic religion,
and the Catholic people that were slain, I guess, during the Pueblo Revolt, and so it's
they were honored with their own plaque and
honoring them,
and
this is there at
Owotovi. Yeah,
so a listener did actually send me
pictures
of it, of the actual
dedication. Yeah, it was so weird. And, I did call up CPO and they were aware of it. And it's like, wow, you actually are making like this wound bigger than you're putting salt on the wound and stuff like that. I mean, like if you know the history of Owat Ovi, where it's like, the Christian part, the Spaniards came over, the
Catholic part.
Yeah, they came over and they tried to convert them into a different religion, and Hopis actually did.
Mm-hmm.
There were actually Hopis that did actually convert into
Catholicism.
Yeah, and it was strange to them. They thought it was a great religion, thinking that they're going to get into
the converts themselves thought that.
And then you see other Hopis that said that, well, let's not do that because we have our own ways of doing these things like that. And so they became a huge war. What was it called? The religion wars.
I don't know.
Yeah, the religious wars. And so both religions clashed into each other, resulting in one of the parties.
The destruction
the destruction of Owat Ovi, where a lot of people died and a lot of Christians or Catholics have died in the process because of religion. And it's not just here on the Hopi Reservation that has done that. There are other places that have done that as well.
And this is a point that I've always wanted to bring up, but we've never had a platform where we're actually talking about it. But I guess, at least talking about religion.
Yeah.
And, why it's such a sensitive topic. I guess when you really look back in the histories of humankind, that religion was responsible for wars, was responsible for deaths, was responsible for conquests, because, back in the olden days across the ocean in the European areas, or I guess even in the Asian areas, that you had leaders that believed in a certain religion and they wanted everybody in the world to believe the same religion that they believed in. And so they would go out and conquest and try to oppress those that didn't believe in what they believed in. And so they would try to convert those people into believing what they believed in. And I always thought that, at least for Native people, that was kind of such a unique concept because we never did that to each other.
No.
Tribes never tried to oppress another tribe to force them to believe
in
what they believed in. Like there was this universal respect that we understood that Apaches believed in one way, Navajos believed in one way, Havasupais believed in
another
way, and we never tried to
conquer each other,
onto them. We only do that to each other here on Hopi. and so I guess the destruction of Owat Ovi is probably like one of the very first times that has happened, at least as far as Hopi is involved, to where religion was the cause of deaths, was the cause for the creation of wars. And I guess really, to clarify, when it comes to that part of our history, is that when Owat Ovi converted to Catholicism, that it was this idea from other Hopis that this is dangerous for them to convert to Catholicism because it's opening the door for our own Hopi way of life to erode, to go away, and we don't want that. And then so hence the village was attacked and destroyed.
Yeah.
And then their property and surviving women were distributed amongst the villages,
other different villages
participated in the destruction of Owat Ovi. And then, of course, after the Spanish conquest, that there were more intrusions of external religions on Hopi, primarily the Mennonite Church, which was established in Oraivi. I'm not too entirely sure if that there was a church in like the other villages, Sangopavi or Walpi, but I know at Oraivi for sure. And then in the area that I live in now, Tuba, that there was a strong migration of Mormon people. That migrated into the area at the beginning, I guess, of the 19th century. And then so that information is documented. And then, because we mentioned this during our Western Navajo Fair podcast that we did live. But Tuba City is actually named after a Hopi. Named Duvi. And so the people that settled the Tuba City area, they were Mormons. And so this Hopi individual who was actually from Oraivi, that he became the first Hopi convert into Mormonism. And so for whatever reason, I guess, they really held him on a high pedestal that he conformed to Mormonism, that they decided to name the town after him. And then we're going to call this place Tuba City.
Yeah.
After you for giving yourself to, I don't know who they believe in.
God. They still believe in God.
Still believe in God.
Yeah. All religions believe in God. They believe in the same thing.
For converting and giving your soul to John Smith.
It's crazy because a lot of these Christian religions like Mormon, Catholic, Christianity, you have evangelists, you have all of these different types of religion. They all believe in the same thing, Jesus Christ and God. All of them, they do that, but they it's sort of like
in a different way.
Just in a different way. I guess it's kind of the same way as Hopi. Mm-hmm. We have different ways of doing things we do all believe in the same thing, but we do things in a different way in different villages.
Second Mesas are probably the Presbyterians.
The Presbyterians.
First Mesas are probably I don't know.
They're Mormons.
LDS Mormons.
LDS.
And then us Third Mesas were the Jews.
We're Lutherans.
We're the Jewish.
Lutherans.
The Old Testament.
The Old Testament. Where we can actually hit the women.
And then we argue with each other about which way's better, even though at the trail at the very end, it's still Tawa, it's still Mansao, it's still...
I guess that is right. So, but it's so weird how different religions define a culture. Did I say that right? Is religion defines a culture, or
I think it can to a degree.
Or does culture define a religion?
I think that might be one of those two-way doors.
Yeah.
To where it could be vice versa. Because then, now this is the first time that we've actually had a conversation about religion on this podcast. Specifically about religion. And then, and I guess really to think about the history of our people, that these external religions have been here for a very long time.
Yeah.
And that there have been churches established in our villages, at least, starting from the 1800s all the way to the present. And of course, the Catholic churches that were once here in the 15 and 1600s during the Spanish conquest. And so, this is kind of something that's been around for a while. But I guess to me, really maybe it's that now you're seeing the population of the Jesus Hoyam, the Christian people here on the reservation, growing a little bit more.
It's true.
And so, this tends to become a topic of conversation on kitchen tables within our villages, because I guess really the way that I've learned it is that, and maybe this is an argument as to why that maybe Hopi is a religion, because then, the way that I've heard it talked about, the way that I've kind of surmised it in my own head, is that, this life that we live from birth to death, it's the purpose that we're trying to get to someplace else.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get to a certain place in the afterlife. But in order to get to this place in the afterlife, you have to live a certain way of life.
You have to go through the trials and tribulations.
You have to believe in a certain thing. And so if you live this Hopi way of life, if you believe in this Hopi way of life, then you'll get to the Hopi section of the afterlife.
That is true. That is very, very true. I mean, because our culture is defined as that way as well too. Mm-hmm. Where we have to live a certain way, we have to follow a certain set of rules, I guess you could say, in order for us to go to the afterlife or go to get home, as we would say. And I guess that's kind of in where religion kind of not deviates, but more or less it defines different cultures. Mm-hmm. I mean, because if you do look at the Christian religion, they have the similar thing, right? Where you believe in one God, you believe in doing things good for the mankind and everything like that. And you do the teachings, make sure that you're a good Christian person and doing all of these different things like that. And then you can go to the pearly gates of heaven. And that's the same way with us as well, too.
And I guess kind of where those conversations really start is that when you start having Hopis that convert to Christianity or any other religion, that it's the belief of the conservative Hopis or the belief of the devout Hopis is a term we've been using a lot recently, that they're, as soon as those Hopis convert to Christianity, they're then saying that I don't believe in Katinam anymore.
Yeah.
Then they're now saying I don't believe in Tawa anymore. I don't believe in Masao. I don't believe in this Hopi way of life anymore. And so I guess that's how it's interpreted. That's how it's interpreted. And so when you see Hopi people start going to the church, when they start practicing Christianity, it's this belief from a certain group of Hopis that believe that they then turned in their Hopi card and they're exchanging it for a Christian card. But then I guess really where the contradictory, at least for some people in the way that they think, is that for some people, that when they start converting to Christianity, that they still continue with Hopi culture. They still go to the Katina dances. They still have their kids participate in the social dances. They still are part of this Hopi,
and everything,
things that are going on in the village. And then so some of the I guess what people say is that so and so goes to church on Sunday mornings, but then when the Katina dance is going on later in the day, they're out there feeding the Katinas. and then so to them it's a contradiction. It's a contradiction because then you're saying that in the morning you're giving your whole effort and praise to Jesus Christ. But then in the afternoon, when you go home, then you're telling the Katina,
the other gods,
that you're trying to give them your prayers. And so it's like putting your eggs in two different baskets.
It's like having two husbands, you're
cooking for husband one in the morning, and then you're cooking for husband number two
on the side,
evening.
In the evening.
And I guess to me, really the way that I see it too is that because the way that I believe things to be and the way that I've been taught is that, like I said, that from birth to death, that we're trying to get to another place.
Yeah.
And the only way you can get to this other place is if you follow a certain way of life. And to me, it's like, if you're trying to be Christian and Hopi at the same time, it's like you're riding on top of two cars.
Yeah.
You have your right foot on top of one car. You have your left foot on top of another car that are riding parallel. But at some point, they're going to fork.
Yeah.
One's going to go right. One's going to go left. And then, you can't go with both of them.
So, and then which one are you going to jump on? Yeah.
In different directions. So at some point you have to get on one or the other.
Yeah.
And, that's kind of how I believe things to be. But then, I guess to really understand the purpose of converting to Christianity if you were born Hopi, that's when, I guess a guest would be helpful to have to learn what it is that goes through their mind. Or maybe they don't think of it in that way.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just see Hopi as strictly a culture. And maybe they don't see it as a religion. And so they want to hold on to the culture part of what Hopi is.
Have you seen that movie, Titskwa Ikatsi?
Yeah.
Remember there was a guy in there. I don't know who he was, but he was from...
It was a Hopi
pastor. And he was like downing all of the Hopi religion. He was saying I used to be a part of the snake society, but then he was talking about this is what they do, and I didn't like that, and this is what they do. They promise you all of these things like that, and he's going off on Hopi religion, and he's like, that's the reason why I believe in God. That's the reason why I believe in Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ is all my my savior, and he's talking about that.
And you know what, that video Titskwa Ikatsi is available for free on YouTube.
Oh, really?
And so, for the listeners out there that are interested in watching it, listening to it, I think it's spelled like TUTSKWATIKACHI, something like that.
Yeah.
But then, that part's really interesting because then this Hopi pastor that you're talking about, that he's giving his sermon in Hopi.
Yeah.
That he's speaking in Hopi.
Yeah.
There's actually a Bible out there in the world.
Actually,
that's in Hopi.
That's
transcribed in Hopi.
Yeah, the Kikutsmovi church over here, they actually do have Bibles and what is it called, the tapes or CDs that are in Hopi.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
all the hymns,
and the what do they call them? The sermons and stuff. Yeah, it's all in Hopi.
That's interesting.
Oh, and one thing too is that there is a website. It's a Christian website. And they have a vast amount of languages on there.
Oh, really?
From like Hindi to like Navajo and everything in between.
No kidding.
And I found it, or well, we found it. I was at work and we found it, and there was a section for Hopi.
Really?
A huge section for Hopi. And it talks about the Bible converting the entire Bible in the Hopi language. And I don't know who this woman was that was talking on the website.
Oh, really?
Saying all of these things in Hopi.
So I guess talking about we're kind of really primarily talking about Christianity, but then we've talked about, or you've asked this question about Hopi and religion. Is Hopi a religion, or is it a spiritual form of living? Like, I guess if somebody was to come up to you, like that bus of Bahanas that stopped at Hotvala that you told go snoop around and take pictures in the kiva.
Yeah.
If they asked you, what's Hopi's religion? Then what would your answer be?
Well, we believe in God. No, I guess I would say...
We believe in the citrus gods. Believe in the apple gods.
No, I would say we believe in God of death.
We believe in the casino gods.
The casino gods. I don't know how you would describe
We've
Hopi
converted
religion.
Recently to the financial gods. All this money you gotta have.
Yeah,
to put
we need
on
his name is Uncle Moneybucks.
the
Moneybucks. So we have to pray to him every time. I don't know how you would describe, because it's easy to describe Christianity. Like, you believe in God. You believe in the one true,
the Holy Spirit.
The Holy Spirit. You believe in that. But how do you explain to somebody in one word what Hopi religion is?
Because then, like, I guess there's some basic components that we do believe in one supreme God, I guess, and that would be Tawa, the sun god.
Well, yeah, I guess that would kind of be like that.
And then there's like a hierarchy, I guess. So you go down, and then there's other gods. There's Masa. We've talked about Masa.
Yeah.
And then Katsinam, they have a leader.
Yeah.
And then all the clans, they all have their own Yes, they have their own mascots.
They only have clanships and stuff like that. Yeah.
And then as you go further, it's almost like Hercules in Greek mythology. Like you have all these different gods of this, gods of that. And then so I guess in turn we pray to these beings. We pray to these spirits in different ways. We pray with cornmeal. We pray with bajos. We pray with Siva now, I guess, you put financial deposits for some of these dances.
Would our culture be defined as a mythology, or would be defined as something different?
Well, I think that I don't want to say a mythology, but I understand the concept of what that is, but that would be intertwined with it.
Yeah.
Because then, mythology suggests that it's
a myth.
It's not real.
It's a fake kind
there's
of.
There's a concept of it, but there's no reality to it. I think that, and so that would be kind of like a hard thing to kind of talk about, because then I guess really it's like, do we have churches? In a way that we do, we have churches.
We have kivas,
our kivas are our primary structures that
to
we
go
do
and
all
pray.
Of our prayers
Yeah, I guess.
Although it's mostly limited to men.
Yeah.
Except for a certain part of the year, then women get a
do
small
that.
window to where that they can be in charge for a bit. And then I guess, trying to think what other characteristics of a religion. And so, I guess, because that was one of the things that I wanted to talk about was what's the differences? Like, what are the differences between, I guess, if there's a concept of a Hopi religion and then the concept of a Christian religion? Because then, like we've talked about, that Christianity, that they're not shy to say that our way is the way.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe in our way, you're wasting your time, because then you're believing in a falsehood. But then, as I'm saying that, though, Hopis, we're kind of the same way. we
try to convert others
each other Hopis.
Yeah, I guess you could say
into
that.
how we.
And that's
think
what
about
I keep on saying is, like, we're I guess you could say that we're kind of racist with each other because we don't like the way that other villages do things, and then we want our way to be part of their,
and that's
and
funny,
vice versa.
As you're saying that, my boss, she said to me one time, she said that I've worked with somebody from every single village. And I can say that every single person that I've worked with talks about the way that their village does things is the right way.
Yeah.
And so she's worked with 12, at least at the minimum, 12 individuals from the 12 different villages. And every single one of them have all carried this message that our village's way is the right way of doing things.
Yeah. It's so strange. It's so strange how it kind of copycats on the lines of like Christianity and Catholicism.
Maybe that's just the characteristics of religion.
Maybe.
Of a religion.
Maybe.
And how the people react to...
like see these different things like that. Like, I guess so. I guess because like what I said before, like with all of these different Christian religions or like these people, these religions that believe in one God and one part of it, we have the same thing. We have the same outlook on life and the same thing, but we do it in a different way. Like we go through the left hand first rather than the other person goes through the right hand. But it all, goes to the same thing. So
because then, I guess, in trying to talk about the differences between Christianity and Hopi, it seems like we're coming up with similarities more so than we are differences. Because even then, our interpretation of world history, our interpretation of our instruction, the reason why Hopis are here at Tuwanasavi, it's our understanding that all indigenous people were supposed to come here.
Yeah.
But not all of them made it here.
Yeah.
And so those that didn't make it here, they got turned into other tribes.
Yeah.
And then you have Apaches, you have Navajos, you have Havasupais, you have Sioux Indians, you have East Coast natives down south. And so I guess in thinking and believing in that, I guess that would kind of be similar to how Christians believe that their way is the supreme way.
Yeah.
But then I guess the difference, finding a difference is that the difference is how we go about it. It's that we don't preach that to other natives. We don't tell natives that you guys were supposed to come to Tuwanasavi
and then be with us.
Be with us, but you guys didn't make it. That's why you guys are Navajos. That's why you guys are Apaches.
So I'm going to convert you into Hopinism.
And so we're going to bring you back and make you guys who you were supposed to be. But that's not what we do. That's not what we do. We understand that all the tribes that are where they're at, that now that's their life way. And that their life way is separate from ours. And that we're respecting those boundaries because we are going to live our own life way, as opposed to the Christians, to where that, you don't believe in Christianity? Well, you should. Come with me, and then we'll make it so.
If we do have a part 2 on this thing here, along with a guest, and I'm pretty sure that we will.
Because we're going to spark so much outrage.
Yeah, I want to ask, why choose that religion over a religion that kind of coincides with that same belief, like the belief of one God, or belief of a spirit, or belief of something else? And it is so strange to me that there are similarities within all religions, like if you're talking about Hinduism, or if you're talking about Christianity, or you're talking about Taoism, anything like that, it all stems from like believing in something. It all believes in believing in like one thing.
And I guess, because like one thing too that I did want to mention, at least as far as natives, not just Hopis, but natives in general converting to Christianity, it's like, why as people, why do we have to have a religion? What is the purpose of having a religion? My interpretation of it was to explain what can't be explained.
Yeah.
Because, we live in this world. Why does it rain? And then for Hopis, because we prayed for it. Why are there shooting stars? Why are there earthquakes? Why are there big winds that come and never seem to stop? Like all these questions that, we were previously not having the answers to.
Yeah.
And then so, it just came this idea that, it's because of a higher power. A higher being. And so I guess really explaining the unexplained. And then I guess to give you your life purpose, because then as Hopis, as I mentioned, that we're trying to get somewhere.
Yeah.
After we die. And then, so what's beyond death? And I guess that's another big concept of religion, is trying to believe in this concept that there's something that's beyond death. And so, unfortunately, we did mention other tribes that unfortunately that there are a lot of other tribes that were completely decimated by colonization, that their culture and life ways and languages were in some cases completely
wiped out,
erased. Yeah, completely erased. And so when you don't have your own culture to lean up against, but yet you still have this desire to have an explanation for life, then I think those people turn to Christianity or Mormonism or some other form of religion, because it's this idea that this stuff has to be explained in some way, and science is moving too slow to explain some of these things.
That's the reason why I asked you, does a culture define a religion, or does religion define a culture?
Mm-hmm. And I said that the door swings both ways.
Yeah, the door swings both ways, but in all, it's like you can't have one or the other, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like the chicken and the egg thing.
Yeah, it's like which
can't
came
have
first.
Eggs without chickens.
Yeah,
but you can't have chickens without eggs.
Yeah, that's true. And so it just becomes this whole messed up kind of concept. I mean, it's not messed up. It's just confusing. Complicated kind of thing here. And it's so hard to understand. And I've read parts of the Bible. Staying at hotels,
had some time.
There's the Book of the Mormon in there, of course. You
got your me time out of the way pretty quickly.
And I searched
in between. I
searched
through
again. Yeah, I searched through drawers just in case there's.
And this was before free Wi-Fi.
This was before free Wi-Fi, and
you're looking for something to do. Like, hey, there's this book.
And I did stumble upon the Bible. It talks about it. It's a great book. It's basically just a book about different stories, and I don't think there's any religion to it, and I don't want to piss off anybody.
I think we already probably did.
Probably. So I'm going to piss everybody off again. So I don't think there's anything religious about a Bible. It's just a Bible that has great stories that is revolved around a religion.
So, this is a question that I haven't asked you, or we haven't really talked about it, but what is Christianity? And I know you kind of said that there's this belief in a spiritual being. Yeah. But I guess what's our interpretation of what it is, because then it's like as Hopi kids, right? To me, I've always believed, and this is a complete stereotype, but that Christianity is a white person's religion.
Yeah.
That a majority of people that are Christian are Pahanas.
Yeah.
But then, as you learn more about the world, that that's not true, that there are a lot of blacks that are Christians, Mexicans that are Christians, all these other different cultures that are Christians. And then you mentioned, that's another stereotype, is that people that read Bibles, they have this Bible because then they're always quoting scripture.
A certain part of the Bible.
Quoting a certain part of the Bible that relates to their life. And then they go to church. But then it's like, what do they do at church? Have you ever been to church?
I have been to church only for the free cookies and for the free punch. When I was a kid,
and the free bath. No,
the free bath.
That's Catholic.
No, there. Up at Hotvella, when we were kids, there's a church up there, and they used to collect all the little kids that would play around, and then take them up to the church, and we would have like cake, cookies, punch. They would give us toys. And with that, we would sing songs. I don't know what I was singing half the time. Dealing with like, oh my God, it's like the God loves me so, or something like that. I don't know, but half the time I really didn't care. I just wanted
your cookies.
I just wanted the cookies, the punch, and the little toys that they give you. And so I don't know. I think because I guess what coming from my mind, it's like I think it's a silly religion, and I. And I know I'm probably pissing off all the Christians.
Be homeless.
I'm probably pissing off all the religions out there, but I think that Christianity, in doing a part like this, trying to teach somebody about that without their knowledge, is part of like just a silly religion in doing so.
Well, I've always thought about that too. I guess the approach of trying to convert people to their belief set, I've always thought was wrong.
Yeah,
because then like. Thinking back to the olden times, why would you kill off people because they didn't believe in what you thought about?
Yeah.
And then when you're thinking about the Spanish, they did the same thing, that they killed a lot of people. because they didn't believe in what they believed in Catholicism. And then you have the churches that came around the 1800s at Oraivi, Songopavi, probably at Walpi too, that they were responsible for a large negative part of our religion being exposed, or at least our culture being exposed. And then so, there's these real detailed documents of our doings, a real detailed documentation of our wimi that's out there for the public to see, as I mentioned before.
And it was written by a Christian guy.
If you have a .edu email account that you probably could access it. And that was caused by individuals that came who were supposed to be here for the benefit of Hopi people.
Yeah.
And, and yet they were doing these things. And so, I guess really it's the practice of the people, because then if you really learn about like Christianity, the religion itself, the good parts of it, it's that a lot of it coincides with what we believe in.
It is.
Being good stewards to the earth, being good neighbors to each other. Like a lot of their core belief system is very much aligned with Hopis. And so I find it real interesting because then, you hear this larger narrative by the indigenous warriors, the academic warriors, the people, the AIS people, the NAS people. That a big part of the messaging is that Christianity and indigenous cultures are perpendicular to each other, which I've always disagreed with, because then when you learn about your own culture and your own belief set, that tends to have a lot of alignment with Christianity.
And, it kind of, because I did the same thing too. In college, I did the same thing as well too. In one of the, what do they call those classes? The
religion classes?
No. It's like, it has to deal with like the biology part of like the whole system of like human evolution.
Anthropology.
Yeah, anthropology. There you go. And I guess that we're like where we are picking up like different types of like different things to make up our religion is one thing that I guess human society has gone through. Like with us, like Hopis coming to the central part here on the Hopi reservation, is that we went a huge distance, out of our way to dig up these types of things like that, or bring back all of these different types of things. And what we gained was that the knowledge of how we can make the culture more like in this religious type of thing like that. So it's I guess the same way goes with Christianity, is like, hey, let's make sure that we have enough evidence to prove that this exists in a way that we can make people believe things like that. And I guess that's the same way as Hopi religion, is that, we can gather a lot of evidence to prove that these different types of gods exist here on the Hopi reservation, not just in our minds. And I guess that's the similarities with Christianity, or like any type of religion that's out throughout the world like that, is that they have to have evidence in order for them to believe something like that.
So here on Hopi, where are the Christians?
No, they're probably in Kikotsumovi. In Pakavi, probably.
Yeah, and I guess, that's kind of an interesting thing. And because to me, like, history is so interesting to me. And that, in Kikotsumovi, that there is a huge population of Christian Hopis, I guess. And then, Pakavi, that they've had their history too with the church and helping them, I guess, really to start their village and helping to build some of the things that they have there in their village. And then Kikotsumovi, I think just that community was started because that's where the church was. The church was in K-Town before people were living there, because they tried to have a church at Oraivi. And then the conservative Hopi said, no, you guys can't be in our village. So they moved down from the Mesa, and then they created their church down at K-Town, which it would be later to be known as. And then the community, I guess, built around the church, I guess, to a degree. And so
that is true.
And so, I guess those are two communities that have that history. I don't know about Second Mesa or First Mesa, if there's a large a deep history of the churches being involved with their communities, but they got churches there. They have churches in First Mesa, Canyon.
Yeah, they do. They do have a lot of that. And I don't know if it's called, I don't know if we can call it assimilation towards one part.
Conversion.
But isn't that the same way assimilated to another culture?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I guess we could
part of it.
Yeah,
it's part of it.
So all in all,
would you ever convert to Christianity?
No, I would probably never do that. I read the Bible, but
why wouldn't you do it? What do you think the pros versus the cons are to converting to Christianity?
I wouldn't be getting like oranges from the Koyamsis anymore.
that would go in the con.
That would
section.
go in the con section, But
they kick you out of your kiva down at Hokbala.
That's probably it. That's all I want.
Well, what are the pros? What can you think of the pros?
The pros would probably be like I'll probably be getting more jobs in like workplaces.
Yep.
Like all of those different things like that.
More recognition. Especially off the reservation, because Christianity is probably the most famous religion that there is.
Did you know that Christianity had fallen since 2020?
Really?
The numbers for religious background history, the numbers have dropped 25%.
Really?
And the reason why is because we have more social media. It's all because of social media and what we see on there. And that a lot of us are not converting into Christianity or converting into another religion. Basically, they're just having no...
What do you think of that concept of people that have no religion?
I mean, like, if you... it's still the same thing. You're believing in no religion. That's still the same belief system, right?
There's still a God.
There's still a God to it. There's still a God to a no God. Yeah, there's still no God to a no God. You're believing in something that doesn't exist.
Well, I guess, for me, and I know we're running out of time, but I did meet, somebody that I was very close with, and they once told me that I don't believe in a religion. And, I think that that's starting to become a more popular premise with the rise of things like science and, an alternative way of explaining the universe. And then also too, I think that people really do look at the histories and they think, the atrocities that were committed in the name of God by different nations. And it's not just Christianity. Because I was going to make the joke that if I was ever to convert to anything, I'd convert to Islam. I'd be
believe in Allah.
Brother J-Man Farouk or something like that.
Believe in Allah.
But then it's like all these religions, especially the major religions, I guess, of the world, that there's some sort of dark part of their history, to where they went to war, to where they had these religious wars.
Religious wars,
and then having this conversation that I guess we can't say that Hopi isn't a part of that because
we are a part of
the example being the destruction of Awat Ovi. And so, and I guess really, people, they examine that history and they say that religion's probably bad then, because all it does is it separates us. From each other. It creates animosity with each other. And for what reason? Because, I guess taking religion out of the picture, we all want the same things. We all want to have good lives. We all, if we have families, we want them to live and grow, and we don't want any bad things to come into our lives. But yet it's this idea of religion that we have arguments with each other. I've had arguments with Hopis on social media because talking
about
shit
religion,
about our munqapi ways, and so they're trying to defend myself.
It's probably me and you. That's why.
and so and it creates negativity. I guess no matter what. At the end of the day, religion does create negativity.
It does,
and I guess and I guess that's the question: is it the religion that's creating the negativity, or is it the people that's following it? That's creating the negativity. I guess it's the people.
I guess that everybody just wants to be right in their own way. And everybody wants to be, wants to feel that power, wants to feel like,
that they're on the winning team.
You're on the winning team.
That's why you have all these Steeler fans out here. And it's like, now it's not fun for them. And so now they get to see what it's hard about being a sports fan.
So,
but the point that I was going to make, though, was that, I had this individual that I was pretty close with, saying that they had no religion. And I didn't say anything, like I didn't try to argue that, you should have a religion, that you should believe in something. But I guess to me, like how I've experienced my life, the things that I've seen, especially in nature, I think that's probably like the biggest thing, is that the things that you see in nature. And I even took a biology course that talked about plants, animals, insects of the Southwest, and just learning what that cycle is that animals go through. the cycle that insects go through, that cycle that plants go through, that in nature, life supports life. And these animals, their existence helps with the growth of certain plants. The fact that certain plants exist help with the existence for bugs and for animals. And there's no relationship where one is just taking from the other and not giving back. It's a complete reciprocal relationship.
The circle of life.
And then when you see that, when you learn about that, like in your mind, it's like, how can there not be a God? That this life was created so perfectly that there's no way that this could have happened by accident. And so I guess really for me that's when looking upon the life, that's why I believe in higher powers. That's why I believe in something more than just, I guess, things
just living here,
happening in a way by accident.
Yeah. And then that's how religion starts.
But I don't think that I ever try to impose my way upon others unless I'm provoked first. So all you second Mesas out there, if you got something to say to me, no, I'm just kidding.
There was a meme that's out there, and it says it was a man talking to a monkey. And he said that, you guys are he's like, you guys are the most dumbest creatures here on earth. And then the monkey reciprocates against that. He's like, well, at least we don't have to pay to live on this earth.
No kidding.
We are the dumbest creatures.
Well, I mean, that's not a religious.
It's not a religious
joke.
thing.
More of an economics joke.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, if you guys are not offended and have not turned this thing off,
thank you.
We thank you for getting up to this whole hour and some odd minutes.
And I do apologize if we offended you, because it was intended to just be a conversation, but you can't have a conversation without sharing some ways of how
we'll bring on a special guest to talk a little bit more about this. So don't get too offended about this, and because we're just Hopi guys from a Hopi perspective view of different things. So don't shoot the messenger. We don't know a lot about that stuff. So
so don't break your audio. Don't.
So if you guys want to donate something, go to anchor.fm/CJ podcast 85 to donate for $1.99 or $4.99 a month. And it's special, it gives us great money for purchase items and stuff like that. Or if you guys want to donate $1 or more, just go to buymeacoffee.com/CJ podcast.
And we were successful in achieving 1,000 followers on Instagram. And so if you are following us, you are entered to win a giveaway that we will be coordinating soon, so look out for that. And if you're not following us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or TikTok, you can find us at Carl and J-Man all across the boards. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, don't forget to give us a 5-star review, because you're not 5 stars unless your podcast says you're 5 stars. And Kay, please don't throw us out. Carl was just kidding. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to Carl and J-Man Save the World podcast. My name is Carl, and this is my best friend, J-Man.
So long. Quack, quack.